Now, 6 years after it was introduced, MSPs have voted to increase the minimum price at which alcohol can be sold by 30% from September. Ministers say the rise from 50 to 65 pence is needed to counteract the impact of inflation and increase the effectiveness of the policy. But the Scottish Conservatives say the measure is not a silver bullet to reduce alcohol harm and will punish responsible drinkers. James Mahon reports.
Nipping down to the shop to grab a quick swally on a Friday night is going to cost that little bit more for Scots this autumn.
I expect, and modelling predicts, that if this increase is implemented, it will save those additional lives. I have heard the concerns of some members on the potential effects of the policy on people who consume alcohol at the highest levels. Specialist support and treatment is vital for people with alcohol dependence. Presiding Officer, I implore members to vote in favour of both of these orders to reduce alcohol-related harm that continues to affect far too many people. Reduce harm and save lives. That's easy.
Last year, a report by Public Health Scotland said the policy had saved 150 lives per year since it was introduced. The Conservatives, though, say it isn't working.
It is hard-working Scots who come home and just want to have a drink. And if you add in the disastrous potential DRS that would come in, you are absolutely hiking the price of a small beer. So what I would say is we should ensure that we give the help that's needed to people who are dependent on alcohol, people who are drinking too much, by creating alcohol brief interventions.
Many Scottish shop owners backed the original introduction of minimum unit pricing, but are now concerned about what this latest rise will do for their sector.
There's going to be a £4 increase on a bottle of scotch. That's horrendous. And it could lead to illicit trade. It could lead to cross-border trading, whereby it's much cheaper to buy alcohol across England and Wales.
Some pub owners are welcoming the increase, suggesting high prices for buying a carry-out versus popping down the local bar will now make them a more appealing option.
I mean, obviously, it can impact the business with people go, oh, I'm not paying that for a bottle of wine or things like that, you know what I mean? But it also, as well, it can be beneficial because then people are more discerning where they put the money, you know, they know they're going to get a quality product.
Michael Hawthorne works with people with alcohol addiction in Glasgow. The councillor from Castle Douglas feels the price increase can be effective in discouraging teen drinking.
If we look to some of the research that's been done in kind of Nordic countries, where the impact has been seen is in younger drinkers, and hopefully we're going to see something similar in Scotland with minimum unit pricing. I think where we have to be careful is people who are dependent drinkers, and just maybe be a bit more mindful about where they sit within this. If someone is dependent, they're still going to find money for drinking.
Michael believes a price rise alone isn't going to stem the tide of alcohol-related illness and deaths in the country.
If we look at what the alcohol industry makes in a year, then we should be seeing some of this reinvested, not just through minimum unit pricing, but also through, I suppose, a bit of a health tax round about what we're seeing sold alcohol-wise in Scotland. It's something that is desperately needed, especially in the times that we're seeing at the moment, and services are being cut. NHS boards across Scotland are to find millions upon millions of pounds of cuts as well.
The Scottish Government hasn't ruled out a potential levy on alcohol sales to bolster treatment services in the future. But it's optimistic that the price increase approved today will take pressure off hospitals and reduce alcohol-related deaths.
James Mahon reporting. Now, calls to repeal the